All right, happy Sunday. This is our May monthly growth game plan where we are going to talk all about creating your own strong summer strategy and what that entails, from mindset to protein on the go, naming your season, and how you can just start creating habits, routines, and the right mindset now so that you can walk into the summer feeling your best that you've ever felt because you're making better choices. So, anyways, I am going to go ahead and share my screen from here, and you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. You should have gotten an email from Marilyn, which has our workbook. Oh, is that not going to do that? There it is. Okay, perfect. I can see what you guys can see. Perfect. All right, there we go. All right, so like I mentioned, the goal today is for y'all to leave with your strong summer strategy and what you can do starting now to feel strong during the summer. So, as we know, my vision with this monthly growth game plan is to educate, empower, and impact. So, educate you on knowledge that will help you boost your confidence in yourself and your health and growth journey, empower you to take ownership of your decisions that can lead you to a better mindset, optimal health, strong body, and better quality of life. And lastly, impact you in ways that inspires you to share your knowledge, wisdom, and experiences with others. So many of my clients are whether moms, teachers, or just work with other people. And I feel that everything that we can learn here is something that you can apply yourself and then go ahead and teach other people as you're learning. And I think that's the best way to learn, truly. So I always like to remind you guys to get comfy, get in a place and space to allow yourself to be present, take notes, interact, and ask questions. So if you are rewatching this and this is the replay, feel free to always let me know what you got from this. We are also going to send out a link at the end that has our Google form so that you can give us some feedback on how it went today, what you learned, what has been your favorite topic this far, and then to vote for next month's topic. And like I mentioned, that workbook is in your email. That is a 11-page workbook with a lot of the details that we're going to go over today, and a lot of area for you to write down your notes and your strong summer strategy. All right, so when you think about summertime, what comes to mind? And something I'd like to bring up is that I've been in the fitness industry for 10 years now. So summertime is when people start to ramp up their motivation. So mind you, summer is not here yet. It's here in like a month or so, or a couple weeks. We are in May. So right now is when motivation is peak, because whether we have more time off in the summer, we're excited to travel, to get in the sun, to get more tan, to hang out at the beach, to be more active, more athletic, have more time with family, friends, etc., whatever that is. But a lot of people have more motivation now. But I want to ask you, and on this next page, I have a list of different things. Are what are We're going to start with thought work today. So I want you to list 10 thoughts that come to mind when you think of summertime and how it affects your health and fitness. So, like I mentioned, we're currently before summer, right? So this motivation is here now. But like I have mentioned in the past, is that a lot of people get excited and motivated before the event, leading up to the event. And then once we get to the event this time being summer, most people start to trickle down because they've checked off the boxes leading up to the event. But my goal, and as we all know, is the holistic health and growth journey. So being able to create small, sustainable habits that you can maintain throughout all your seasons of life, but also being realistic with what season of life you're about to walk in. So for summertime, these are some things that I like to mention. And again, write down all your 10 thoughts that come to mind. Positive, negative, neutral, whatever that looks like. Like summertime means it's hot. Sure, valid. Some people, a lot of my clients tend to get very nervous about having more, like, oh, I'm being so good, but then all the potlucks start happening and all the parties, and it's so hard for me to say no, right? So that is a thought that could be written down. The warmer, hotter weather, does that encourage you to get out and about and get more steps, to be active, to swim more, move more, walk more? Or is that something for you that you're like, oh my gosh, I need to be in the AC, it's not happening for me? Unpredictable schedule, does that excite you that you have more free time? Does that make you nervous for what your current routines look like? What is that for you? More free time, right? Even unpredictable schedule, more free time, those two can mean the same thing, right? Um, and more free time, what does that mean for you? And what do you plug in during your free time? Or are you choosing to schedule things? Are you choosing to have more flow? I work with a lot of teachers or people that do abide by the school schedule. So I know that summertime is an exciting time to have more time off, but what does that mean for your health and fitness? Are you still meal prepping? Are you still planning to take care of yourself? Are you still training with your coach? What does that look like? Kids at home more often. What does that look like for you? Does that mean that um, that you think that you don't have time to work out because your kids are home? Does that mean that you get to plan workouts that are more friendly for you and your kids to participate in together? Do you have to get a gym membership that has a kids club? All the options, right? Travel time. What? How do you want to abide by your health and fitness, and what kind of strategy do you want to plan for your summertime travel? Do you want to just enjoy no structured fitness? That is totally okay. Or you can still follow a plan that is more body weight, maybe more yoga. Something my wife and I love to do on our trips is just do all yoga all week, or we'll plug in like 2 or 3 strength training days, but very flexible. And on this last trip, we did follow a pretty structured plan, but it was just still so much fun with enjoying all the food and everything. And then summer body, what comes to mind when you think of summer body? So again, these are just different little prompts for you to think about. Let me see if I do this. These are just different, that's better. So my face is there. Okay. These are different little prompts for you to think about when you're writing your 10 thoughts that come to mind. And then last but not least, shorts, tanks, bikini, swimsuit. What does that make you think? What is a thought that you can write down there? Okay. So, like I mentioned, today my goal is for you to leave with your own personalized blueprint to your strong summer strategy. I don't want you walking into the summertime being like, oh, well, I hope I can stay consistent. I'll try to do this. I'll try to do that. Those are just words that give us a lot of room to either, and I don't want to say the word fail, but room to follow through or not, right? Try means that you might try if you feel good, or you just will, right? So you can either choose either or. I think being intentional with what you want it to look like and planning ahead of time. I'm going to share a lot that I've learned from my life coach school, as well as my mindset cert that I've recently gotten. And when we plan ahead of time, we are using our prefrontal cortex, and that allows us to learn, plan, and be very intentional. And we're planning in a way that's going to align with our goals, right? But when we're in the moment and we think like, oh, well, if I feel like working out, I'll work out. Or if I feel like eating good, I'll eat good. Or I'm just going to go based on what I'm craving. Or I'm going to just see how the week goes, right? Now we're going to allow our stress brain or our survival brain to choose what that looks like. And that brain may not be conditioned as best as we hope, right? And that's not anything wrong with you or anyone else. It's really just that's the normal. We have a brain that allows us to plan ahead of time, our prefrontal cortex, and then we have our in the moment brain that could be stressed, tired, whatever's going on. And if we allow that brain to make the decisions for our future, we may not follow through with a lot of the things that we initially planned. So that's why we're creating a strategy since now for the summer. So what are the facts about your summer? These are things that we want to talk about first. So write down whether you're still going to work full time. Do you have vacations planned? Do you still plan to be training? Will your kids be home from school? Are your kids in summer school? Does your spouse travel more? Are you going to plan to be more in a yes mode? What is that? Or maybe that's not a fact per se, but yeah, write down all the facts first. Then what would you like to name your season or your chapter? And I think that's really important, because once we're able to name a season or a chapter, that allows us to claim our power. And so what I wrote down was, power comes from naming your season and how you want to show up for yourself. It reminds you that you are still in control of your controllables and that you're still the author of your story. And as cliche as that sounds, it's honestly feels so much more rewarding when you can choose what your name of this next season is, because then you can remind yourself like, okay, am I acting in alignment to that name or that title that I gave this season, right? Or am I just letting life happen to me? Mind you, there are things that are just going to happen, and those are things we can't control. But how we respond and react to those things are things that we can control. What we think about that, how we show up in those moments, right? And I think that's something important that we can ask ourselves and plan ahead. So, what I'm really excited to coach about this time is what's called the self-coaching model. So, this is something that I've learned with Brooke Castillo in the Life Coach School, and she is a got her degree in psychology, but then she has now has her, oh my gosh, she is the founder of the Life Coach School, and she's owned it for the last 30 years. So she's been a life coach for a while, and she's created a lot of different processes, tools, and different things to help her clients and also other life coaches to work and teach others. So this is something that has been so impactful for me these last 4 months, and I just thought I would share with you guys and how we can use this for summertime, but honestly way beyond summer. So what the self-coaching model is she mentioned that everything in life falls under these 5 categories. It's either a circumstance, a thought, a feeling, action, or a result. So that's the order of it per se. So circumstance, how we would use that, we would use a neutral, factual one line about the situation. So let's say, for example, and you're going to see this a little bit later, my factual reality of this summer is that we will be starting remodel. And something I want to acknowledge is that I don't want us to add any extra emotion or any extra anything. It gets to be factual, it gets to be neutral. I'm not going to say we're doing a big remodel, we're doing a stressful remodel, we're doing a whatever, because now that's not factual, right? We are remodeling our home this summer. That's a fact. A thought, okay, the thought you were thinking about this situation, choose only one. You may be thinking tons of different thoughts, but start with one. Feeling, the feeling that this thought produces. So let's say, for example, the thought, and I'm going to explain a little bit later how you can go and use whether unhelpful thoughts or helpful thoughts, and how you can either see where you're currently at, reflect, notice what that thought creates, what feeling that thought creates. So the feeling that this thought produces for you, again, only choose one. Then the actions or inactions that this feeling creates. For this one, list all of them. And then the result, the ultimate result of what these actions create. So again, the self-coaching model is really cool because we can either start with the circumstance at the top, or you can start with the result. So for example, for the summertime, what is the result you want to create by the end of summer? Do you want to have 5 more pounds of muscle mass? Do you just want to feel confident in your body? That can be the result for the summertime. Do you want to wear a bikini, right? Do you want to still train 3 to 4 times a week? You can start wherever you want on this self-coaching model. Or if you want to start with the feeling, which is actually what we're going to do next, is we're going to start with how we want to feel this summer. So yes. So how would you like to feel this summer? Think of the emotions you would like to experience / feel. For example, joy, calm, balanced, consistent, productive, energized, recharge. Those are just some that I pulled out based on what some of my clients have told me for how they want to feel this summer, but you choose whatever that is for you. And then that would again go under that, what she calls it is the T line, which is the thought line. So then from there, once you choose that feeling, so the F line, what thought would you need to produce to create this emotion? What thought would you need to think to produce this emotion? Sorry about that. So whether you want to say energized is the thought, then an example would be like, I am grateful to move my body and enjoy the weather, something like that. And then what are the neutral facts about this situation? So this is going to make a little bit more sense as I start to show you how this is getting all plugged in. So again, using the self-coaching model, how can I move this? Oh, but I want to keep myself here. Okay, then there. Okay, that works. So using the self-coaching model. So again, circumstance gets to be factual and neutral. Thought, one thought you're thinking, feeling, one feeling that thought is making you feel. Action, list all of them, action or inaction. So that's really important. And then the ultimate result. So for example, like I mentioned, the C line for me, or let's start with the F. So how do I want to feel this summer? Honestly, I would like to feel calm because we are going to be remodeling, moving to a new space for some time. I'm going to be packing. I'm still going to be building my businesses. But again, I'm not putting all that there. That's just all the things I know. So I'm just starting with the fact of where remodel starts this summer. So how would I like to feel? Calm. So I went up and I put the thought I'm going to choose to feel or to think to feel calm is that I plan my days with structure and flow. And I already know that the circumstances remodel starts this summer. And like I mentioned over here on the right, you can start on any line and make your way up or down. Just choose where it's best to start for you. So maybe you want to start with the actions you want to do this summer, or maybe you want to start with the result you want to create this summer. Or you can start literally from the top. What is the circumstance this summer? Whatever that looks like. So from here, how would you like to feel? So again, how do I act when I'm feeling this emotion? So let's say calm. How do I act when I'm feeling calm? Or here, the what I wrote down is intentional. Um, so when I'm intentional, I plan, I wake up with purpose, I meditate, I act with urgency or focus. But let's say that I didn't put intentional, and let's say that I'm choosing to reflect on something in the moment, and that's not the model I'm using, and I'm writing overwhelmed. Okay, so because honestly, that remodel could make me feel overwhelmed as well if I choose to let it. So overwhelmed. What are some ways that I act when I'm overwhelmed? I overthink. I feel guilty about what I'm not doing. I doom scroll or buffer. I shop. And then I don't really do what I have planned. Um, so, what is the ultimate result of how I act when I feel this way? So, example, if I was intentional, I get my scheduled tasks done, or when I'm overwhelmed, I actually don't get much of anything done, which is just the truth. So, this is something that on your workbook, I'm again literally kind of copied and paste this because these are my examples, but I want you to understand as I'm talking through them how you can plug this in for your circumstance or your summer, or honestly, any thought that comes to mind that either tends to give us unhelpful, unwanted actions and result, or from that, you can choose the opposite and find another thought from that same circumstance and figure out how you can create a different result for yourself based on the thought that you think about that circumstance. So, if you notice for this unhelpful thought, the circumstance here, and for the helpful thought, the circumstance there stays the same. So this is a model that I'm choosing to reflect on this side for the unhelpful thought, and on the right side, this is technically an intentional model is how we would run that because that's how we would want to feel if we were being intentional with our thoughts. Okay, so let me start with the unhelpful thought. So remodel starts this summer. The thought that I could think is it's going to be so hectic to pack and to move into my in-laws while trying to grow my businesses. So what does that thought make me feel? Stressed is what I put here. What are some actions how do I act when I feel stressed? I overthink, I buffer with scrolling, I complain, I dwell on what could go wrong, not being proactive. So what are the ultimate results that those actions cause? Get things done in a slow pace, with a bad and negative attitude, and probably stagnant in business. Okay, so this is a potential outcome of how I can act and be and think during this remodel, right? It's an unhelpful thought. That's just how I worded it. On the right side, I switched it. So again, that circumstance is the same. Remodel still starts this summer. Helpful thought. I will plan my days with structure and flow to move and still grow my businesses. That what does that thought make me feel? Makes me feel calm. When I plan things ahead of time, when I know that I'm going to have some structure, some flow, I just feel so much more calmer about any situation. What are the actions here? I plan accordingly. I start packing timely. I communicate game plan with my wife, and I sort through things. What are the ultimate results that would get me? That would get things done with intentional effort and a grateful attitude, while and grow my businesses. So again, that same circumstance is not going to change. The remodel still starts, or whatever that looks like for you. The kids are still going to be home, or you still have tons of parties to go to, whatever that is. those circumstances aren't going to change, right? Those are the facts of the summer, but how you choose to think about it is going to be the biggest game changer. So this is where we would discuss, let's discuss how you can apply this self-coaching model beyond summertime. And honestly, this is something that I want y'all to really think about and to use. I would love, like, if I can make something mandatory, I would love for everybody to practice this on a daily basis, right? Currently, my routine is that I am doing a morning journal time with a brain dump, meaning that I write down all good, bad, and ugly thoughts, anything that's on my brain. I'm writing those down. This is what my life coach suggests. So some free life coaching tips through osmosis here. So write down all those things. What does that look like? And from your whole brain dump, choose a couple thoughts that you want to work through and take through the model. So for example, Monday morning, right? Monday morning, lots of people tend to have negative attitude because they're still tired from the weekend. They feel like they have to get so much done. All they do is think about their to-do list. So let's say, for example, the circumstance Monday morning is that I have so much to do this week. Mind you, is that very factual? We would have to make that more factual. So I have a long to-do list. Maybe could be a more factual one, because you might have a long to-do list. Then from there, what is the thought that you're currently feeling and that is just coming to you naturally? That could be whether overwhelmed, or sorry, thought. That could either be, oh my gosh, am I going to get behind? I feel, whatever that thought is, something about just feeling like you're always having to catch up, or that you're not moving fast enough, whatever that phrase is. And what is the feeling? Probably something along stressed, overwhelmed, something like that. How do we act when we feel stressed or overwhelmed? Different things. And then what is that ultimate result? Or again, or more something more specific to our health and fitness, right? I think that's why it's so important to do our check-ins. And these are things that I am working with y'all through when I am responding to you guys. When I notice that there's a phrase of like, oh, I always struggle with my nutrition. Like, oh, the week was great, but I always struggle with my nutrition. Okay, so that is the thought that is going in the T line. Okay, how does that thought make you feel? Makes you probably feel defeated, right? Probably makes you feel like incompetent, like you're not able to learn something. What does that thought, what does that feeling make you do or not do? Maybe not plan your meal prep because you're like, oh, well, I already messed up, why should I even meal prep? Maybe that thought makes you like want to eat a ton of unnecessary snacks that weren't on your game plan initially. Maybe that thought makes you want to go have margaritas. I don't know what that thought makes you do. And then from there, we're back into that cycle of like, okay, the ultimate result is that you only validate the fact that you feel like you're always struggling with nutrition. But if we were to choose to think differently and say like, you know what, I had some wins this week with nutrition, but I still have some work to do. What does that thought make you feel? Maybe that thought makes you feel a little bit more encouraged, right? Maybe a little bit more empowered, like you're making change, versus just constantly beating yourself up on this side. So being intentional, choosing this self-coaching model, how you can plug things in, I think is going to be really helpful way beyond summertime. So hopefully that's helpful there. All right, nutrition on the go. How can you still set yourself up for success with your nutrition and hydration? I'm going to list here all the things that work for me and my wife. We've been, when I say we, I feel like we've been in the fitness industry for a while. She was like my poster client, aka now wife, obviously. But so we meal prep. We are very intentional as a household to have all our roles. I do the grocery shopping, and my wife does all the like planning to figure out, okay, how much of what do we need for meal preps. Marilyn helps us with cooking, and we have a system that works for us. So we meal prep weekly. Having a 64-ounce water on you is going to be super important starting now and leading into the summer. We live in California. It is going to get nice and toasty. There is no excuses for you to just be carrying a freaking 16-ounce water bottle, because you are going to finish that right after your workout or right away. And if that is going to be your excuse on why you're not staying hydrated because you're only carrying that around, then no wonder you're going to be dehydrated and you're probably going to overeat, get headaches, etc. Set yourself up for success. Have whether 2 32-ounce water jugs or just get a one big 64-ounce. Okay. If it's not in your aesthetic, then figure out what is cute for you to drink your drinks, and make sure you have enough of that planned from the beginning of the day, because 32 ounces is only going to last you a couple hours and you need to stay hydrated all day. So that's number two. Look at your week and plan ahead of time. So things that I know ahead of time in my week is every Thursday, I am going to have dinner with my dad. Now I get to plan whether we are going to eat something home cooked or if we're going to eat out. I have a hand like 50% control there of where we're going to eat. So if we choose somewhere we're going to eat out, I can look at the menu. I can see what still fits in my, excuse me, in my macros. I can see what aligns with me and what that looks like. Or you can choose to think the thought that I have no control because I'm going out to eat. That is not true. You do not have to eat all the chips and salsa. You do not have to eat, you do not like, you can share a plate, you can order something that still aligns with what that looks like. Or if the name of your season is YOLO, then go for it. Eat whatever it is you like. And if you are going to eat what you like, do not choose the guilt game. Don't play that guilt game with yourself. Enjoy the food, enjoy it, enjoy the memories, savor it, and then move on from there. Okay. Um, find foods that you enjoy picking up from your favorite stores. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later because I think that's what you guys wanted to hear about today. So I'm adding in a 10 more. Prioritize 30 to 50 grams of protein in whichever meal that you can have at home. So again, I actually want to talk about this on my stories today. I'm going to a brunch at 11:30. I have been up since 7 a.m. So many people eat absolutely nothing from that time to then because they're like, well, I don't want to be full for brunch. Yes, but you also do not want to be starving for brunch or the potluck or the event or whatever that is. So please do not do the whole like, oh, I didn't eat all day so that I can eat a ton at this event, right? Have something, have a protein shake at least, have avocado toast with salmon, which is what I had this morning. Have some eggs, something that's still light, but that's going to allow you to have your 30 to 50 grams of protein and be realistic. I know these next 2 hours, I'm still going to be hungry. And I will still be able to enjoy the food there, but in a much better manner because I've already eaten something this morning versus showing up freaking starving and then overeating, eating to that 120% fullness where I'm uncomfortable, right? So be wise with that and don't go into this scarcity mindset of like, oh, I'm just not going to eat all day until that big event. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Okay. And then last but not least, buying protein shakes, bars, fruits to have in your bag, and just in case scenarios. I totally understand that during summertime, things are not always going to be planned. Things are going to happen, and that's just life in general, right? But if you could pack yourself a protein bar or a protein shake or something that you enjoy, pre-planned snacks that you enjoy, some fruit, something to hold you over versus getting the headache, overeating, choosing the margarita because you got so hungry and you're so stressed, you're like, I just need a drink. If you had the shake, the bar, the fruit, you would probably be in a better headspace to choose more intentionally versus using your stress brain in the moment, right? And we talked about that at the beginning. So this is where I mentioned that I was going to share mine and Brittany's favorite high protein meals. So I think I have about 6 here. So number one is our tuna salad. We normally either have that with bread, or I like to have it with the pretzel crackers, some string cheese, cucumbers if we're being extra healthy. And that's something that's homemade. Marilyn makes it sometimes. Brittany makes it, but that's really tasty. We're not super fancy with like subbing out the mayo or anything. We use like light mayo, red onions, whatever, all the things, all the goods, right? Number two, this is more out and about, sashimi or ahi poke. Oh, so good. So whether you get an ahi poke bowl somewhere or whatever kind of poke you like, seaweed salad, rice, veggies, this can be something that can be a really well-rounded meal. If you are someone that loves raw fish, this is definitely highly, highly, highly recommended. So Sprouts is somewhere that we go to buy ahi poke. So if you wanted to actually go to like a potluck or something and you wanted to take some extra protein, or you're going to hang out with family and you didn't want to show up with just your basic meal prep container, ahi poke is really great and you can pick that up, or any good sushi spot or any good poke spot, right? Pollo asado, tortillas, and guacamole. So pollo asado is bomb. You can honestly, I don't know. We get ours right now from Albertsons. You could probably go to Larios. You can go anywhere and get some pollo asado. If you didn't have time to make it yourself, there's always really good like rotisserie chicken, or you can even stop by like Pollo Loco and get some just chicken. I don't know. Then tortillas, you got some carbs, guacamole, some fat. Here I put Larios, but honestly, wherever you want. Fish ceviche, chips, and salsa. Fish ceviche has the most protein. Yes, you can get shrimp ceviche. Shrimp takes 12 shrimp to have 26 grams of protein. Fish ceviche is 4 ounces for 30 grams of protein. So I normally eat like 8 ounces because it's just so good. It's so fresh. And if you find the right place, we go to Ranch Market. Ladios has one, but it has a ton of jalapenos, and honestly, bomb though. But Ranch Market always hits good. And then we do have chips. We add some salsa. And then last but not least, I love a good shrimp cocktail. So like I mentioned, 12 shrimp equal 26 grams of protein. If you go to La Bufadora en el Monte, they have a really bomb shrimp cocktail. They put the most amount of shrimp. And obviously we have that with crackers or some avocado, whatever else, the tostadas or whatever. But that is always so bomb, so refreshing for the summertime. So those are our faves. Easy to pick up before potlucks or any get together if you didn't want to just take your basic meal prep container. So I made a list of do's and don'ts for parties and potlucks. Okay. So number one, don't show up starving. Okay. Instead, let's eat at least 30 to 50 grams of protein or a balanced meal before the event. Okay. That's just going to allow you to have better like cognitive function, be in a better mood for whoever it is you're showing up with. I tend to get hangry, so me showing up starving isn't only a detriment to my health, it's shitty for everyone else around me. So don't be that person. Don't do that. Number two, don't give in to peer pressure. So you're not in high school anymore. Like no one's like, I don't know. We're all adults. Like we all have our own goals. Your tia and your tios goals and ideologies of health and fitness. I don't want to say shouldn't affect you because I don't want to be inconsiderate, but I want to say they are not good. They might not be the people you want to model after their health and fitness, right? So don't take advice from them. So don't give in to the peer pressure. Instead, communicate your expectations or boundaries with yourself or your spouse or whoever it is that you're at the party that you feel that would respect your boundaries and just stay strong in those. Okay. Number three, don't show up without at least a mental plan. Okay. So what I mean by that is that, again, if you're just showing up to your day kind of willy-nilly and just hoping that you magically hit 150 grams of protein, or let's say your goal is 100 grams of protein, it might not happen. You have to have some sort of mental plan to kind of get ahead and know what you can do to set yourself up for success here. So what I put is talk through or think through your game plan with all potential obstacles for this event and create solutions that align you to your goals and how you want to feel. Okay, we are not just writing this down to sound good. We actually have to follow through with these things of how we want to feel so that we can show up in that way and then end up being really proud of ourselves, or at least making progress in the right direction. We are not going to be perfect. We are human. And in this human experience, life is 50-50. You are not going to always be your highest self and your best self. That'd be great, but we're not. And that is okay. But show up with some sort of mental plan and remember how you want to feel. Okay. Number four, don't fall into boredom eating. Okay. So it's so easy when we're at parties and we're just talking to the same group or you're hanging out with the family or whatever, and there's just food everywhere and available. We think that we have to go and grab some food because it's available. But I want us to stay as intentional and as mindful as possible. So what I put was check in with yourself and ask, am I really hungry? Am I dehydrated? Why am I eating, right? Are we eating because we're bored? Are we eating because we actually haven't had water in like 5 hours because you're carrying around your little 16-ounce water bottle? Are we like, just ask yourself, how hungry are you? Something that my wife and I always do is we talk about like, okay, how hungry are you on a scale of 1 to 10? For me, 10 means like I am fucking starving. Like I need food 5 minutes ago type of vibe. So she'll always say, okay, babe, how hungry are you? Because I need a plan. She goes, we probably have like 20 more minutes so we get to my family's house or whatever that is. I'm like, okay, well, I'm at a 6. Like if I bring my protein shake, I could bring that 6 down to a 4 and then be a well-functioning human being for at least another 30 minutes after that protein shake. And that's important to know, right? Don't go showing up and be like, oh, I just had no control because I'm hungry. I've definitely been that person, but don't be that person. It's not fun. And then last but not least, don't let your emotions take over. So check in with yourself and you can kind of talk yourself through it. pep talk yourself, right? Yes, I feel stressed, but is 3 margaritas really going to solve that problem, right? Can I allow myself to feel stressed and just give myself time to unwind without alcohol or overeating? Okay. So I think that's really important, being more intentional, being more mindful. And again, some mindfulness practices we can do. Taking three deep breaths before we eat is always going to be a big one. Excuse me, I'm drinking a freaking drink that's giving me burps, and this is not ideal for this. Anyways, here we are. 3 deep breaths, right? Can you put your food down in between your meals, or sorry, in between your bites, so that we're just not eating so fast? And next thing we know, we ate your plate and your son's plate, whatever that looks like. Um, and just allow yourself to feel whatever it is you're feeling in those moments. Be okay with feeling the things, but know that we do not have to buffer with eating or drinking in a way that's not going to serve us. Okay. And if you do, give yourself grace, because we are human and it's going to happen. Okay. And this is all practice, and we get to practice every time we eat and drink, and that is totally okay. So, what will your non negotiables be this summer? Non negotiables are kind of fun, something that and I guess I could share about my non negotiables in some past experiences. So, when we were dealing with a really challenging time, I made non negotiables to train at least 3 times a week, to still eat my 150 grams of protein, and to steps were sometimes hard. So I didn't always steps weren't the easiest. So that wasn't a non negotiable. But getting as much sleep as I could. And I didn't even put a set number for sleep, because there was times that we were at the hospital at the middle of the night, and I just wasn't going to get sleep. So it is what it is. So you get to be intentional with what it is that you're already good at, and then be wise about choosing what are your non-negotiables from there. Don't choose non-negotiables that you have never hit. You get to be kind to yourself, right? Set yourself up for success. So whatever you choose, and make sure it's something that you want to challenge yourself with, and it aligns with how you want to feel this summer. So is it going to be getting a minimum of 7 hours of sleep? Is it going to be a daily step count of 8 to 10,000, or maybe you're more on the 5 to 7,000 range? Is it going to be a minimum of 100 or 120 grams of protein a day? Is it going to be training 3 to 4 times a week? And then again, if you are currently not consistent with any of these, only choose one thing as your non-negotiable. If you are currently consistent, let's say with 3 of these, then you can choose that and more, or whatever aligns with you. Okay, so just be wise, be kind to yourself, and you can always readjust your strong summer strategy, because this is yours and nobody else's. So we're almost done here. Strong summer strategy, like I mentioned, we are creating yours. So I don't even think I had a page of, oh yes I did, of naming your season, right? So what is the title of your season? I'm going to share mine. Let's see. I actually didn't think of this ahead of time. So the title of my summer season is going to be growing in all capacities. How about that? Because I am not someone that enjoys being out of control, and there are going to be a handful of things that are going to be out of control, especially with permits and remodel process. We are in control of a lot of things though, so that's pretty cool. But what did I say my strategy was? Oh my god, my title was growing through all the things, something like that. Anyways, this summer I want to feel. Mine was calm. I will feel this way by thinking. I am going to plan and structure my life with structure and flow while I build my businesses. Thinking this way and feeling this will allow me to create these actions, plan accordingly, follow through with my tasks, still have my business meetings, still grow my business, and plan time to rest. Let's say that. Creating these actions will ultimately produce the result of, I don't remember what it was on that last page, but I'm going to say creating a calm environment for me to still be able to grow personally and business wise. Let's say that. Regardless of the facts, that circumstance, so the circumstance is this summer we will start remodel. Okay, so I pretty much just moved it in a different way, but this again is just back to the self-coaching model. Again, normally it starts with circumstance, then it goes to thought, feeling, action, and result. You could just jumble it however you need to. Then my non-negotiables will be to still hit my 150 grams of protein. I'm actually still going to create my non-negotiable to hit 10K steps. I for sure have negotiable spelled wrong. I just couldn't fucking figure it out. So cheers. Um, and then to getting as much sleep as possible. So I'm still going to shoot for my 7 hours because that is just going to make me feel my best regardless of what is going on around me. So those are mine. I'm excited to hear about yours, especially as you play this back. Please pause it as you need. Make sure you write all these things down. As your coach, I definitely need to know these so that I can help you plan your strong summer strategy out with your program and how I can help you be accountable and intentional with that. So thank you so much. This is my vision again, to educate, empower, and impact y'all with these monthly growth game plans. You are going to get a link in your email with this replay, which is how you're watching this. So again, thank you for your time. Cheers for your growth and goodness. Please take the 3 minutes to fill out our survey so that we can know if this monthly growth mindset added value to you. Find out what you learned, which topics you'd be interested in for next month, and then how we can improve just for the following months. So again, with strength and gratitude from your favorite trainer, Angel Hermosillo Rojas. Toodles, have a great Sunday. Bye. Oh, I actually still need to close this, so like you're gonna hear me for a second. Stop share and toodles. Stop recording. Okay, stop recording.